That's not how the picture is supposed to look. Let's try that again. Oh, that looks much more like me. Well, it is a Thursday evening, and I am a Screaming Wyvern. Call myself Wyvern because, like a dragon, I hoard role-playing games. I'm also unbalanced and somewhat toxic, and tonight I am doing some learninating about the, let's go ahead and call it true, world of solo role-playing games. I have been spending a couple of weeks going through a game book of Dungeon Crawl Classics, but for absolutely no reason whatsoever, since there are no interesting world events or anything like that that could be giving me ideas, I thought tonight would be a perfect time to test out solo role-playing, and just completely at random, I decided that I was going to grab this game. This is one of my favorite games. It is a role-playing game of a darkly humorous future, updated for the present, completely unrelated to anything that we're experiencing nowadays, of course. And when I say that this is one of my favorite games, this is the 5th edition. True Paranoia fans know that there is no 5th edition. This is an un-edition of the game, but somehow I have it in my hands here. This isn't really too interesting. My actual copy of the core 2nd edition rulebook is in a pile that's hoping to be put into a binder one of these days. But this is vitally important because I purchased this because, look, it's a form. It's a form that we can fill out, and it comes in triplicate with carbon paper. Yes. We'll go ahead and add that to floppy disks with the list of things that you can see how old you are if you recognize that. Yeah, I've only got the one thing with the actual carbon paper. That's quite funny, honestly. But I've also got the Paranoia XP. But this one is the most important one because I actually helped kickstart this. This is the red clearance edition. And of course, what makes this one important, hopefully, they're in here still. They're not. I thought I had it. Oh, I don't have the dice. That is horrifying and amazing. It did come with character sheets on dry erase markers, or dry erase character sheets. Now, of course, there's no reason to expect that you'd specifically be needing to abruptly create a new character in a game called Paranoia. That absolutely would be unfounded, unexpected, and completely unnecessary, without the actual writing on it. But the rules I am working with are the Perfect Edition, which obviously the red clearance edition was perfect, so the Perfect Edition is just slightly more perfect. The The computer says so. But what is Mythic all about? So one of the reasons why I figured this was a perfect match for it is that paranoia is so theater of the mind. You literally cannot try and do anything but theater of the mind with paranoia, because if you attempt to come up with strategies for combat and make clever decisions and stuff like that, you clearly know too much, and your character will be they will be killed for treason. That's very important. So that makes it really good for what this company likes to call their GM emulator. I pulled up the copy that I've got built into Fantasy Grounds, but obviously it also I've got the main book that comes through Drive-Thru Role-Playing Game. Good purchase. Lots and lots of information on the idea. So let's go ahead and pull up their example here. So you are playing a role-playing game. You are by yourself, which means that you don't have a game master. So obviously you have the emulator. In this case, the player is doing some kind of end-of-the-world role-playing game with Henny Lassiter as their character, barista call turned zombie apocalypse survivor. So there's a lot of connection between solo role-playing game and creative writing, except for the fact that you have to understand that any time you would try to figure something out that the game master would explain, you go ahead and use either fate, which in this case is a certain level of yes or no answer, or what most people call an oracle. Where's the... I don't have the perfect ones. But we'll go ahead and start off here. So, in our example that we're being given here, the main character and their sidekick have made their way into a forest in search for shelter. And the player asks, do I see any movement in the trees ahead? The odds of seeing something are very unlikely because they're in the deep in the forest. So that gives them an idea of how likely the answer is going to be. So based on that, they use this fate chart to see if there's going to be some kind of encounter. And it gets a little bit complicated, but the long and the short of it is that you roll a 100-sided die, you get a number below 13, and the answer is... oh, it was very unlikely. I think that's no, but with a disclaimer. Or maybe that's yes with a disclaimer. 15 is no, and then 84 is no with a disclaimer. So 50, everything is fine. So then the characters walk for an hour, and it's time to go ahead and see if anything interesting is going to happen. Do they find anything along the way? And again, 50-50 chance. So they roll 33, which means that yes, they find something, but there's going to be some kind of event, and that's kind of where the alternative to the randomization comes in, or just the plain yes or no. And then you kind of make some decisions on how the story goes and stuff like that. And that's, of course, where you turn to your actual role-playing game and figure out how that would work. And then you take it from there. You see what happens based on, like I said, it's the Oracle, where it just gives you kind of two random words, and you kind of figure out what you're going to do with that information. So that's kind of what the plan is for tonight, for me to test out the system with the system. Let me go ahead and pull up Acrobat. This, of course, is a character sheet. That should probably not come as a surprise. So the long and the short of Paranoia is that you are a citizen of Alpha Complex. Alpha Complex is a utopia, which is run by an all-powerful, all-seeing, all-knowing computer. The computer is perfect in every way. The computer is not overweight. The computer is not experiencing any mental problems. The computer is absolutely perfect, and we are all extremely happy with the computer as our leader. Again, I chose this game completely at random. Any connections you might make to other events are completely on you. So, all citizens of Alpha Complex are clones. They have been using the remnants of humanity for the last 214 years. It should probably be noted that last year was also the year 214. The connection between schedules being for events that will happen in 215 and the fact that it was 214 last year and is still 214 should be completely ignored. Since you are clone, you don't really have a surname. You have more the location where you were decanted. In some of the locations in Alpha Complex, you may have been decanted as a youngster and then taught by teacher bots and given the opportunity to learn on your own. Or you might be someone who had the entirety of what you need to know as an adult just uploaded into your brain through the core tech, the built-in computer that everyone will have soon, we're sure. And of course, the core tech allows you to instantly connect to friend computer and all sorts of social media, and absolutely not in any way, shape, or form to be bombarded by ads or viruses or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start off my character creation. I am going to be... Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it easy. I will go ahead and be Nicholas from WIV sector. I'm also going to be number 1 because everyone is given the opportunity to live, die, repeat 6 times. 5 times? 5 times. So, if anything unfortunate happens, a copy of your mental records will be uploaded to the cloud to be downloaded by your next of you. Downloaded into the core tech with absolutely zero chance whatsoever of any corruption whatsoever. Team name, obviously this is solo, so there is no such thing. Mandatory bonus duty, again, that requires us to have some other organization or some other people, but it's the service group that I need to go ahead and try and randomize. So, service groups. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 service groups. So let's go ahead and grab a 8-sided die and see where Nicholas here will be placed. Oh, CPU. So let's go ahead and read a little bit about CPU. Not Armed Forces CPU. File clerks, data miners, pointy-haired bosses, and more that fully accept that laws, mandates, and paperwork are more important than people. Responsibilities: run the government of Alpha Complex, collect and hoard data, measure and improve productivity everywhere, take but hide bribes. So except for that last part, definitely not that last part, almost makes sense for me. So their friends are production, logistics, and commerce, which is the people who figure out how services and items are sent from people to people. Power services, which, again, a vitally important service that needs oversight. And obviously, I have no idea who these romantics could possibly be, because that's above my security clearance. Enemies, research and design. They keep trying to work around the rules. Free enterprise. Again, I don't know who that is, but if I hazard to guess, they'd be an organization that thinks that we should just be able to have our economy work with no oversight whatsoever. And the Sierra Club, who I definitely have no idea who those would be, and definitely wouldn't be basically anarchists who are trying to run away from the perfection that is Alpha Complex. But for the most part, CPU is not fond of the chaos caused by actual people, especially those who don't bother filling out their forms. So Yeah, for better and worse, that sounds absolutely perfect. So, what's next? Okay. My treason button. So this is something that if it affects me, I may have a panic attack and do something that might be considered not okay by the generous and kind rules set about by Friend Computer. We've got a few ideas from being in CPU. I think that I should skip ahead to the violence button, and say that the thing that's most likely to trigger me to violence is going to be taking actions that require authorization without authorization. Hopefully I will be able to see that later, but close enough. Change that to scene. Okay. What will cause okay, this could be too easy, and I may have regrets about this later, but repeated interruptions to routine. I'm not going to turn around and say that my job as a programmer is subject to putting my head down and focusing, and that I have, like everyone else, this as an actual problem, but it is kind of true. So that brings us to our skills and attributes. We have 4 attributes: brain, which is smart, chutzpah, which is, I guess, charisma in less interesting games, mechanics, which is your ability to deal with and work with mechanical devices, and violence, which is violence. There are 4 by 4. There are 16 different stats, but as a character in Paranoia is expected to be a troubleshooter, we all get guns at level 2. Now, what is interesting about Paranoia is that the new edition have, how shall we put it? Character generation battle royale. Like everything else in Paranoia, character creation is PvP. This is a problem for me as a solo player, but I think I can go ahead and fake it. So when I say that it's competitive, let's say there's 4 people making their character sheets. So player 1 goes ahead and says, you know what? I want to go ahead and put 1 point into bureaucracy. That means that player 2 gets a -1 to bureaucracy. They choose a skill. The next person along gets a -2 to that, a -1 to that. It continues until we have player 4 chooses a skill and player 1 gets their comeuppance. I'm not going to go ahead and do it by the actual skill. I'm just going to go ahead and roll a 4-sided die, and that's going to be the place where the first thing on the list is where I get my -1. 4, so that would be violence. So I'm going to get a -1 in athletics. Okay. Now we do 2 points. What you don't want is to pick a skill too soon, because then you won't be as good at it as you would like to be. But you also don't want to wait too long to choose a skill, because by then it'll been locked off with a negative number or something like that. I am going to go ahead, since it's low on the list, I'm going to risk waiting until later for program. Let's go ahead and have some kind of charisma skill. And the -2 is going to hit me on, oh, beautiful. So we started with a chutzpah skill, and we will end with a chutzpah skill. Okay. So I am at 3. I think that I should be able to figure out how Alpha Complex works. And player 4 thinks that I should not know how psychology works. Oh, we're at -3. The dice are having a grand old time. Make sure that those dice rolls are clearly visible. There we go. Okay. I am on 4. I don't care about demolitions. I don't see me being able to do intimidation too well. Losing science is likely. I'm going to go ahead and take that. And that's going to give us a -4 for melee, which means I can go ahead and take programming, which will be very useful if I run into any bots, which will make me completely useless at intimidation. That's absolutely no problem at all. Wounds, right now I should be in perfect condition. Flags, I am obviously loyal. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm beyond loyal, and I'm beyond fine. So Moxie. I should already have Moxie of some kind. Moxie. Character creation. Oh, set the 4 stats. Should go ahead and do that first. Stealth is 0, demolition is 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so I have 3 positive stats there. I have many brains. I have 1 positive stat there, 1 positive stat there, and 1 positive stat there. Okay, so I will start off with 8 Moxie and 200 XP points. Moxie works a lot like luck in Dungeon Crawl Classic. So, or hero points in Pathfinder. So that's going back to comfortable areas. So each service group is going to give me +1 to 1 stats and -1 to 2 skills. So going back to our service group, those are people. Those are the organizations. I didn't see where the list was. Scrolly, 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 scrolly. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, there we go. Okay. CPU gives me another +1 to brains, which means I am very smart, but it gives me -1 to guns. Oh, excuse me. -1 to guns and -1 to operate. So I can program them, but I can't drive them, which, yeah, once again, that's real life coming back here. Now, it's possible that there is such a thing as a secret society, and it is possible that I might be in one of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is beautiful. Let's go ahead and see where I end up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Frankenstein destroyers. Bots are evil and should be destroyed, but are you secretly an android? Well, that's uncomfortable. Okay, Frankenstein destroyers. We'll go ahead and put that onto the super secret list of things. Secret Society Frankenstein destroyers. Yay! So that gives me, this is extremely upsetting. It gives me a -2 penalty to program that I worked so hard for, but it does give me +2 to melee. So, yay. So happy. And it is also possible that I have a mutant power due to the fact that maybe we've reused the cloning vats one time too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is not a real die, but fortunately, through the power of technology, it can be. Roll a D15. Oh, that was rolling. Okay. I was expecting it to give me something cool. So, yeah, I might secretly have X-ray vision. So we'll go ahead and put that into the mutant powers. Okay. As a brand new character, none of this stuff truly matters to me. But we are going to go ahead and start off with our very first question. which is why are my lights flickering? No, that's not the actual one. That's just a general question. Okay, there we go. Fantasy Grounds fate chart. So currently everything is absolutely normal. So we're going to go ahead and do a roll here. So the first question we're going to ask is, am I truly a troubleshooter? Because one important part of that is that I'd start off at red clearance instead of infrared clearance, and no one wants to start off as anything below red clearance. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it's nearly certain that this is going to be the case. So let's go ahead and sneak back to our thing. So we are going to go ahead and do a fate roll, and we are going to see if my character is starting off as a troubleshooter or not. And the response I got was yes. Yes, he is. So we'll go ahead and give him red security clearance, which means that he is above the SAD rank and file. It also means that his life expectancy is low. Now, another reason why I thought that Paranoia would work so well for a solo role-playing game is the fact that one of the things that I have here is what they like to call a mission blender. That's right. It's a randomized story chart, which is basically exactly what we would be looking for. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see why there's a mission in the first place. What exactly could we be looking for? So we're going to go ahead and roll 2 6-sided dice like they were a D100. Our first number is a 2, and our second number is a 4, which means that there is a technological object that I need to track down and fix. So let's hide that unwanted section and mission location plug and plays. No, that's not right. Okay. Skim through here and find the object. Characters. Objects. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, only this time I want prettier dice. I want prettier dice. I don't think anyone can blame for wanting my dice to be as pretty as possible. So let's go ahead and grab. Obviously, this is a. Oh, I've got stars and clovers. I could do that. Let's do this one. It's very pretty. And I don't use it for Pathfinder. So our first six-sided die is going to be a 6, which means it's going to be equipment. Well, I was trying to figure out why it says 260 because that's not a thing. Okay, so it is going to be a piece of equipment that is malfunctioning and needs to be fixed. So it is a piece of equipment. Here's our lovely it has to be something which is going to stay useful after the fact. It can't be a single-use thing. Let's go ahead and say that it is a voice changer. So it is a malfunctioning voice changer that I have been hired to find. And the number one problem I need to be aware of is that the equipment is 41. So whoever is using this voice changer, makes other citizens angry with them. So someone is running around with this voice changer and causing all sorts of problems because of that. So that seems perfectly rational. So we're gonna skip. Well, no. This is the main theme of the mission, of the story. So the main theme for this story is going to be that 46, the troubleshooter will cause the problem they're trying to stop. That's a good story. That's a fairly normal story for paranoia. Okay. Whose fault is it? $26. Okay. The voice changer was handed out by one of the troubleshooter's superiors, and they are looking for someone to be blamed. A patsy, if you will. So that's never happened. So what will happen during the story? $44. The computer will not give any information about the malfunctioning. So you say voice changer and leaves, it will cause a horrific problem, but doesn't want that information to get out in any way. That definitely sounds like a perfectly good storyline. So now we're going to go ahead and start off the story with our mission scene. So what this means is something is going to happen. And I can go ahead and use that normally. So okay. I don't have a pre-planned story for this, but let's go ahead and ask if my character is experienced. Have they had experience? Yes. Okay, so this is not a brand new clone, which means that I have to go ahead and ask the horrible question: has Nicholas R. Wyvern died before? Yes, that's great. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull the character sheet back up so that we can mark the fact that it is in fact Nicholas R. Wyvern 2. Okay. So with that pleasant information in mind, we are having our usual morning in red clearance. All red clearance buildings are perfect for up to 6 clones at a certain time. There are even shelves to keep personal belongings. And while relaxing with his only slightly fizz-free, bubbly, bouncy beverage, Nicholas notices that there is there's an arc welder that has in very small print information on him needing to go to a specific conference room. Is someone holding the arc welder? Okay. Well, that's good. That's good for a random event. Let's go ahead and see. Let's see what this does. I can't read this. Oh, I understand now. Okay. So what's happened here is that there's a new NPC. Harm, anxiously, strength, artificial. Those are my oracle phrases. So let's go ahead and grab a random paranoia name. This is going to be a red level troubleshooter who probably lives with me, who is I think that Eric here is trying to break down our recycle. Let's go ahead and say recycle the red clearance building that or room that I'm currently in. So I'm going to need to convince him more than anything else. He's holding this arc welder. I see that it's got information on it. And the fact he's seen me and he's not too happy with it. So I am going to go ahead and do I can't do a charm check because that's not one of my best skills. So let's go ahead and do bluff. I'm going to try and tell him that the arc welder that he's got assigned to him is an old model and he needs to go to PLC to get it replaced. So I have a chutzpah of 1, I have a bluff of 2, which means that I get to roll 3 dice. If I roll 5 or a 6, then that is a success. And I need 2 successes, I'm going to say. I have 1 success. Fortunately, I have my ace in the hole, which is whenever you do a roll, you get a extra die, which is the computer die. Once again, a 5 or a 6 is going to be an extra success. But if it rolls a 6, then that means the computer gets personally responsible for helping with the situation. And that means that I have failed the check. So in the middle of me trying to explain the situation to him, without actually explaining the situation to him, he's going to break into a run and try and get out of there. Now, I think the chaos goes up, if I remember, when things start happening. So we're going to go ahead and I have 2 skills which help me. I've got Alpha Complex, which means I could figure out where he might be able to be trying to go. Or if there is a bot around, I would be able to attempt to get its help with the program. So, let's see. Is there a bot around? It could go either way. So, an exceptional yes. There is a bot around. I am going to go ahead and say that it's a scrub bot. So that's going to be something that can move quickly and can be, well, soap is a notoriously problematic thing to run in. So I am going to try and order it to take out the or take down this Eric so that I can speak to him in a slightly more calm situation. 3 successes and the computer 4 successes, and the computer doesn't need to be involved. So Eric goes screaming down the corridor. I see that there's a scrub bot that's working right outside the door. I convince it to go after Eric. It screams down the corridor after it while I walk calmly through, only to find him. He has been sent on his back, and okay, let's go ahead and be pessimistic here. Is Eric alive? Yes. Okay. So I am able to, after I check to make sure that Eric's alive, I don't actually give a damn about how he feels otherwise. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the arc welder, and on it I see the instructions saying that I need to get to a specific briefing room. And let's see, is anything going to prevent me from getting to that briefing room? No. Okay. Nice and clean. So, public location. So, following the instructions scribbled on the outside of the, or on the side of the arc welder, I find myself in a forms processing center, which feels just like home. And, the briefing officer has formed a wall of forms and a wall out of the forms. He's leaving himself with nothing but a small hole that he can look out through, I mean. And another hole that he can use to shoot his gun. So the we know that the underlying thing is that voice distorters. So the question is, is the briefing officer directly sending me after this item? Okay, yes. So everything is on the up and up here. So I am being asked to look for this device, and let's see. That's going to send me to a location. Let's see. I don't know why I'm rolling it like that, since it'll be right next to each other. 60. Okay, 6 is a secret and unusual location. So they are sending me to... There is a recently uncovered elevator shaft, which is where they found this item. And I have to head to that elevator shaft and find this very dangerous voice changer. So the next step, now that I have my mission, is I need to go ahead and talk to PLC to see what kind of equipment I get. Um, 11. Okay, so I'm given a code to go to a specific supply depot, which is unfortunately currently closed for repair. So I am going to have to find alternate ways of getting my equipment. How do... I'm a good person. I don't have I like to do things on the up and up. I don't like going around so or going around authorization. I have permission to go to PLC for equipment. I'm going to go to PLC for equipment. Do I know where the nearest PLC location close to this one is? So far, everything has been very nice to me. That's very nice. Which also makes me feel very concerned. Is my chaos factor going the right way? Okay. Value between 1 and 9. Okay, so yeah, it's supposed to be more chaotic the higher the number is. So I do know where there is a PLC depot that I can go to go ahead and get get my equipment, but am I just going to be able to get there without any problems? This is the expected scene. Okay, so yeah, everything is simply coming up, Wyvern. So I did go to the first place. So obviously I need to get myself my red reflect armor to avoid any nasty laser beams from other people in my security clearance, and my red laser. How many? 4 power packs. Okay. Now. The next step is going to be well, I don't have any specific ideas of what what I might be picking up. So am I going to get my hands on more advanced weaponry? 15 is a yes. Let's go ahead and upgrade that laser weapon to a laser rifle, which means that any wounds I cause go up by 1. Okay. So, I've been to PLC, and I'm on my way to the I'm on my way to the recently uncovered elevator shaft where this device has come from. Let's go ahead and see what kind of okay. Let's pull back open the book. So, a scene. So, I don't currently have a list of things or characters that I'm going for. So instead, I'm going to try and check in with the Frankenstein destroyers and see if they have anything interesting for me. Maybe they have maybe the Frankenstein destroyers want me to look out for something. Maybe they would like me to look at oops, that is too many dice. So I get in touch with my contact, and they actually believe that there is someone involved with this who is possibly an android. We know how we feel about that. So, in addition, okay. Is the person the Frankenstein destroyers are sending me after the same person who has the voice changer? No. Okay. These are two completely different people. Excellent. So it just happens to be that somewhere in the area, there's going to be this extra character that I need to keep a lookout for. They are a dangerous individual who I'll run across. Because they are wild-eyed, incoherent, or possibly frenzied. But they are a red clearance. So the Frankenstein destroyers want me to keep an eye out for a frenzied red clearance citizen. It's not Luke, is it? Or Eric, I mean? No, okay, of course it's not Luke. Luke? Who is Luke? Where is Luke coming into this? But this is a... Oh. Well, no wonder they're frenzied. It's a riot control officer from internal security. That would definitely explain why they'd be twitchy and dangerous. Or... Okay. So, as with all things, in order for me to get where I am going, I will need to make my way to the transbot. So... Obviously, this is just a perfectly normal red clearance transbot, so that will be nice. And it is an absolutely massive station. Which is completely empty. Is the station empty because of my mission? No. Okay. Is the train station empty because of... another troubleshooter mission? No. Okay. It's just empty. So I am going to have to find my way to the right station, and there's absolutely no one here who can help me. So this is probably going to be easy if I just go ahead and do an alpha complex roll. I have 4 in brains. I have 3 in alpha complex. That is only 1 success. That is still only 1 success. Okay. So I have gotten myself completely lost. I am absolutely on the wrong transbot, which means let's look for a random event to happen. Okay, so there's an NPC action. Whoa! That is not easier to read. Okay, so this was abandoned innocently with extraordinary tactics. Can I do anything with that information? Oh, I know what the problem is. Oh, I know exactly what the problem is. You see, bot brains are not something that can be created anymore with any success. So they have to be recycled. Which means what's happening here is that the trainbot has decided that it's going to go back to its original duty as I've got tactic in here, so I'm going to go ahead and say that it was a warbot at one point. So I'm on my way to the front of the train to try and work with the Transbot Spot Brain to see exactly what is where I'm going and if there's any way for me to get back on track with the correct location when it suddenly decides that it is time to um it's time to get back to its previous location. So are there other people around at the location it gets off? Yes, of course it is, but nothing too exciting. So it is on an elevated platform when it suddenly realizes that this place looks familiar and it tries to get off the track abruptly. I need to try and put things under my control. So I'm doing a programming check. Which of course I fail at, because why wouldn't I? So it sends me into the main plaza of a random sector. Let's see, which sector is this? I don't know. Why did I close my paranoia name generator? So this is EKN sector. Okay. Is there a direct path from EKN sector to I never figured out what sector I needed to head to. Is EKN sector where I want to go? No. Is there a direct path from EKN sector to the correct sector? There really, really isn't a clear path. Okay, so that means I have to figure out a way to get from here to the correct sector. Let's go ahead and say currently stuck in the EKN sector, but I am trying to head to the PSY sector. Okay. Just use that alpha complex knowledge. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And 2 successes. And the computer still isn't taking a personal interest in things. So I do know how to get there. What questions do I want to ask? Is it going to be difficult to get there? Exceptionally, yes. It's going to be ridiculously difficult to get there. Okay. Am I going to need someone's help to get there? That was the wrong table, but let's go ahead and go with this. Okay, there is someone that I can get information from. Let's go ahead, and it is... I need to find Donnie O-A-J-O. He's orange, so he's not that much higher security clearance than I am. So the real question is... who is he with? For a character. Okay, 16. So, oh, he's a data researcher. That shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. forever. We'll have so much to talk about. So, I do need to approach him carefully. And the real question is, am I going to be able to find him through my normal contacts? No. Okay, so I need to do something special. So the first question is he even in this sector that I'm in right now? So that's good, at least. At least I can go ahead and find him. Okay, so when in doubt, especially since I don't like them much, go ahead and use a bot. So I'm going to go ahead and... do I have a random bot option here? Because that would be awesome. Yes. Okay. So I head down to PLC and fill out the proper forms, because of course you can fill out the proper forms. Which ends up with me being loaned an oversized model of Jacobot. Jacobot as in Jack of all trades. No autocorrect, not Jack Boots. That's a completely different problem. So, does he like me? Great. He is absolutely my friend. That will be extremely useful. Okay, so this says that the bot is bigger than the standard model. Can it even leave PLC? Okay. Well, at least we don't have that to worry about. So I am going to go ahead and use my new friend to help me track down this Donnie O. Ajo, AJO. Which I would say is probably just another programming check. And the computer die. Oh, shucks. Does my oversized and now poorly programmed Jacobot, since I failed everything, does he cause the wrong people to pay attention to me? Okay, So that's good. Just kind of there. Um, Sometimes the numbers don't look right as I'm rolling them. It's always funny. So I've got this useless damn Jacobot. Okay. Well, I guess I have no choice. I need to call in a favor. So I'm going to go ahead and use 3 of my Moxie points to get in touch with someone in the CPU to go ahead and hand over the records on Donnie, who is the only person who knows how to get to PSY sector from EKN sector. Okay, this is a good way of doing this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into a communication booth. I'm going to give a call to my good buddy Pete R. Hill. And I'm going to give him a call and ask him where I can find Donnie O. Okay. So that was easy again. Apparently, Pete is perfectly happy to give me the information I need to find Donnie. I just need to loan him the Jacobot that I had loaned out to me. That's going to be a future me problem. Just make a note that he took the Jacobot in exchange for information. Okay. So, Pete sends me on my way to speak to Donnie. Does something stop me from getting to Donnie? Yes, of course something does. So let's go ahead and get some kind of inspiration on what exactly happens. Of course, it's a new NPC. Alvin R. from GMZ sector. Okay, it sounds like he is a... Well, actually, before I say that, So what I've got to worry about here is a dangerous character. It's stopping me from getting where I want to go. Well, this is interesting. It's a wild-eyed and frenzied red clearance citizen, which is exactly what I was looking for before, but what does he currently be telling me he is? Oh, he's a chemical engineering safety tech. Is this the guy that Frankenstein destroyers want me to go after? Do I need this guy alive to reach Donnie? Okay. So everything's fine there. So I'm traveling through CPU based on the instructions that my buddy gave me. When I run across Alvin. Alvin is a extremely frustrated engineering safety tech who seems to be of the opinion that I don't have the proper equipment for some of the stuff that is stored in this area. So obviously, I can go ahead and try and bluff my way out of this. So 3 dice and the computer dice. That is 2 successes. I am able to tell him that I am an expert in handling the kind of chemicals that he's worried about. And in fact, I am bringing those supplies to Donnie. Does Alvin know where Donnie is right now? Alvin has no idea who Donnie is. He's just this distraction in my way. It's an exceptional no, which means he is in fact the mention of Donnie upsets him for some reason. Which is going to get me into a fight. And of course, with my brilliant gun skill, I am the loser of that. So let's go ahead and start off with a wound. Let's see. What other skills do I have? Okay, so I tried to shoot him, but I missed. And he was able to throw chemicals in my face, proving that I don't actually have the protective gear I'm supposed to. But if there's one thing I'm good at, it's science. Two successes, which means that I am able to identify exactly what chemicals he's having problems with. And I'm like, hold up. There's a leak somewhere, isn't there? Okay, so because of my science skill, I am able to figure out that this particular scent of chemicals would only come from a what do I want this to be? Is it something to do with robots? So yeah, it can only come from a bot brain repair station. And obviously there is some kind of major issue that needs to be worked on. But what exactly, I think I'm going to leave for another day. So that was interesting. I'm not sure I still have the hang of it, and I'll have to do some more prep work next time. It's definitely, you want to put together some kind of flow chart for yourself. Although it does have that, you're supposed to put together storyline threads that you can pull from as things happen, and but yeah, very surprising events for Paranoia, where everything seems to be going reasonably well. Um, Not what you'd expect under any circumstances. But yeah, I think that will do it for me tonight. So, yeah, I will figure out how to do sign offs any day now. But until then, good night, and I will see you later.